Y'all, there is a new immersive indoor exhibit at the Madison Children's Museum called the Nice Age Trail. It's a joy-inspiring trip through 4 Wisconsin seasons and habitats where kids get to dress up and pretend to be animals to grow empathy and appreciation for nature. Buzz like a bee, dance like a crane. The play space is all natural, free from plastics and harmful chemicals, and it's included with the price of museum admission. The grand opening is June 1st. Today on CityCast Madison. Madison is a notoriously bikeable city during all seasons. But there's one time a year where the bike community truly goes ham to hit the trails and bike lanes. And that's for Madison Bike Week. As of this weekend and running through Saturday, there are over 60 planned events. From bike infrastructure talks, to grabbing cheesy bacon waffles, to catching your elected officials out on the pass. These folks know how to let the good times roll. So, to learn what's on deck, we sat down with 2 leaders from the week's organizers, Madison Bike's current president, Eleanor Conrad, and former president, Harold Cleves. It's Monday, June 3rd. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Eleanor, hello.
Hi, Bianca. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course. And Harold, what's good?
Bike Week is good, of course. Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, and Bike Week has begun. It kicked off this past weekend. Eleanor, to start, why do a Madison Bike Week?
So Madison Bike Week is a wonderful opportunity for folks who love biking to gather, especially this time of year is usually gorgeous in Madison and in the surrounding communities in Madison. And it's a great way for us to find community, to learn new things about biking, explore new aspects of biking, and also get yummy, delicious treats at so many of our commuter stations.
That sounds lovely. Can you tell me a little bit about Madison Bikes itself as an organization? What's y'all's mission? What are you about?
Yeah, so Madison Bikes started in 2015. Which means that next year is 2025 will be our 10-year anniversary, which is very exciting. So this year's Bike Week is awesome, and next year's Bike Week will also be awesome. As an organization, we are volunteer-run, nonprofit, and our mission is to make our community a place where anyone can ride a bicycle conveniently and comfortably year-round to any destination within the community.
Yeah, that's our mission. We work on educating people, keeping people informed about what's going on at the city, advocating for safe bike infrastructure that's comfortable for people of all ages and abilities, building those connections, creating a network where people feel comfortable riding, where they are safe from cars. And yeah, that's really what we're all about.
Yeah, so we've got the current president, we've got a former president online with us right now. Harold, since this has been going for a hot minute, how many people come out and participate? And how many do you expect to come this year?
That's a good and difficult question. So if people are not familiar with how Madison Bike Week works, so yes, Madison Bikes, we are organizing it. Our name and logo is on all of it. But really, it's a community event where we're a 14 to 15 people volunteer organization. So we cannot organize a week's worth of events. So what happens is we put out the call in April, March of the year and say like, hey, Madison Bike Week is coming. Do you want to organize something? And so we have businesses, we have nonprofits, we have random people like you and me just organizing individual events of all kinds. And our job is to facilitate that, to put it all on a calendar, to promote it, to make sure we have like city permits and all of that. But the events themselves, I mean, they are put on by many different people. And so we don't really have a super good way of keeping track of this. We're going to send an email with a survey after Bike Week asking our partners like, hey, what do you think? How many people actually showed up to your event? And so it's going to be hundreds. It's probably going to be, I don't know, is thousands too much? Maybe not. I mean, it's like 60 events. If you have like 50 people at each of them, that's like 3,000 people. And now I'm talking myself into that. It actually might be thousands of people.
I gave you an impossible task to look into the future, but you do know what's on the lineup, right? So what can folks expect from the lineup of events this week?
So how many hours do we have to go?
Yeah, did you say 60? Did I hear you correctly? 60 events?
I think it's actually more than 60.
Okay, I feel like I must have heard that wrong. 60,
Nope,
that's
nope.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm the guy who gets all the emails whenever somebody submits an event. And let me just say, there have been a lot of emails and they still keep coming in. Officially, I think we closed our registration May 17th or something. But, if somebody sends us something, we're going to put it on the calendar. So stuff is still coming in. Like I just saw one coming in from Madison Parks about Ride the Drive that was submitted today. So
Madison Parks, tisk tisk.
Yes.
Sorry, y'all, we love you.
Yeah, so I don't want to play favorites, even though I do have like some biases and favorites, because some of the events I'm actually organizing myself. So obviously those are awesome. But I don't know, we can just go through it day by day and pointing out just a couple cool things that either have been around for a long time or that are maybe new this year. Today, I think you probably already missed this. We did our annual ride with the mayor and a press conference to bring in Bike Week properly. So we have like feeder rides from the west side and from the northeast side. We meet up with the mayor at City Hall, ride around the square, and then hold a press conference. So that's always a highlight. Yeah, so Tuesday, we have bacon cheddar waffles, which I know are super popular. They have been around for a couple of years. They include a mobile espresso bar and you get like product samples. So that's like the quintessential Bike Week bike station where like it's in the morning at 7 a.m. You ride on the bike path, you get bacon cheddar waffles and free coffee. And like, yeah, that's just an awesome start into the day.
Beautiful.
If you are, so I think most of our events are a little bit morning heavy. Most of these bike stations happen at like 7, 8, 9. And I know that's not for everybody, either because people already have to work earlier or maybe, for other reasons. And so we make sure that we as Madison Bikes, we also have some afternoon events. So at 3 p.m., you can come out to Fire Station number 9 over on Midvale. And there we are going to have root beer floats, including some vegan root beer floats. So that's sponsored by Hill Farms Neighborhood, Madison Bikes, and the Fire Station. They are always super enthusiastic to have us in their backyard. They say hi, and it's a good staple to have.
That's good feels with the Madison Fire Department. That's awesome. And how Madison to have vegan ice cream for the floats. Nice.
Of course. The other big thing on Tuesday, there's going to be a new B-Cycle station out by Warner Park, which is super exciting. And so B-Cycle and the city put on a ribbon cutting and what they call a family transportation carnival, which includes like bike demos for kids. I think the Madison Police Department will do a bike rodeo. There will be a kids bike parade and like lots of other stuff. It's a super long description on there. So that sounds really good. So that's at 4:30 at the Mallards Stadium. Oh yeah, and the Mallards will also be involved, I hear. Maybe with their mascot on a bike. I am not totally sure about that.
I'm starting to feel like this might be the biggest week in Madison. Am I crazy? These are a lot of big hitters, and we're only on Tuesday and Wednesday.
It is a great way to explore Madison and the city, for sure.
Yeah, and every year we think, this was the biggest bike week of all times. And then next year comes around and you get more stuff and new stuff and different stuff, which is always exciting.
It's amazing.
Let's talk about Wednesday a little. Two things that people have maybe heard about from previous years is brat cakes and bacon on the bike path. So those are big events. The name tells it all. And this year they actually happen on the same day, both starting at 7 a.m. Brat Cakes is out by the Velo Underground. So it's out near Fitchburg where the Badger State Trail and the Southwest Path and the Cannonball come together. So they'll be a little bit out. And the Bacon on the Bike Path is right down by Monona Terrace on the Cap City Trail in Law Park. And so we'll see who gets more attendance, if bacon or brat cakes are more popular.
I learned about the Velo Underground last year, and it's a good meeting spot, I understand.
Yeah, no, it's like where you have a little roundabout, but just for 4 different bike paths, which is pretty unique, I would say. Yeah, there's a couple other things happening. I mean, there's lots of other things happening on Wednesday. Like the UW has a free class, so there's also an educational component to Bike Week, how to plan a bicycle commute, free for everybody, not just for UW people. There is a ice cream social and a high-end ice cream social out in Middleton by the Middleton Area Historical Society, because apparently they also think bikes are great. There's a taco ride in the evening with ice cream, and yeah, lots of other stuff happening on Wednesday. Jumping ahead, on Friday, we have the end of Bike Week party that Madison Bikes organizes out in Brittingham Park. And we work with local breweries to get donations for the beverages. And so the Hop Garden is one of our supporters down in Paoli. And in order to get the beer from there, the obvious way to do that is to bike down there. So I'm doing a group ride where we start in Madison, we bike down to the beer garden, stop there for a little bit, and then load up the keg onto my trailer and bike it back. So as I said, I'm biased, I'm organizing it, so I think it's a great event, especially if the weather holds up. That
sounds like great fun, and it's gorgeous. Paoli is gorgeous, and all the I've driven it like a creep. I haven't biked it. I know that sounds like a really pretty ride.
Yeah, if you bike down there, the big advantage is you do not have to worry about parking. I see like the cars lined up all along the road, and on the bike you just roll in. They have great bike racks there, and you're right in the middle and can get your beverage. So it's good. What else do we have on Thursday? There are more educational stuff. There's a talk about the history of bicycling in Wisconsin at 7 p.m. It's at the Capitol Brewery out in Middleton. So the author of Wheel Fever, How Wisconsin Became a Great Bicycling State, will be giving a talk. It's really exciting how, I read that book, and it's really cool to see how Wisconsin was at the forefront at that early bicycle boom in the late 19th century. So cool stuff there.
I did not know that.
On Saturday, I want to highlight that the city of Madison is doing a bike infrastructure tour. This is the second time that one of their staff are doing this. So he works in traffic engineering, and he will take us around the city to show off some of the cool new infrastructure that the city has built, tell you more than you ever wanted to know about signal phasing and how bikes get detected and how they interact with the signals for cars and all of that. So it's super nerdy, but also super fun. I think it's scheduled for 3 hours, so you're in for a treat for sure.
Oh my goodness.
Another big thing on Saturday is the party at the pump track. So that's a little paved course with ups and downs where you don't pedal, but you use your body to generate forward motion. It's super popular among kids and adults. It's out by Aldo Leopold School. And so the Wisconsin Bike Fed, who shout out to the Wisconsin Bike Fed, they're also doing Wisconsin Bike Week all around the state during that same time. So they are partnering with Dream Bikes, with Madtown, BMX, and Bike Parks for Kids to have the party at the pump track. So kids can ride the pump track. There will be treats. They will fix up bikes with Dream Bikes. And so that's going to happen on Saturday from 11 to 3 p.m.
Holy smokes. I have half the mind to just cancel this entire week. I have to talk to my team. We need to reschedule all the rest of the interviews and have them all about Bike Week. Y'all, there is a truly special opportunity coming this month. The Harry Whitehorse International Wood Sculpture Festival is running from June 14th through the 22nd, and it's a first-of-its-kind week-long celebration of contemporary and traditional wood sculpture and indigenous culture. It's named after the world-renowned Ho-Chunk sculptor and painter who lived in Winona, the late Harry Whitehorse, and it will be hosted at the iconic San Damiano Park right on the shores of Lake Monona. The fest is inviting 12 international sculptors from countries like Peru, Germany, Ukraine, and more for a week-long artisan residence. And it will host demonstrations of live sculpture and Ho-Chunk arts and crafts, such as black ash basketry, porcupine quill art, and finger weaving. Plus, they've got live music and food. Plan your visit and learn more at harrywhitehorse.com/festival. Kids are our future, right? And we all want to make sure that future is bright. That's why making sure that their bodies, minds, and characters are strong. Luckily, KidStrong coming to Sun Prairie might just be the answer. KidStrong is a national franchise that uses a science-based training program that focuses on character, physical, and brain development through weekly 45-minute age-based classes. And a pair of Sun Prairie parents are opening a new KidStrong location at Prairie Lake Shopping Center. Instruction is led by world-class certified coaches, and kids are taught everything from the importance of shaking hands to how to do a pull-up correctly. And 77% of parents in the program credit KidStrong with boosting their children's self-confidence. Interested? You can call or text 608-369-8866 or visit their social media at KidStrong Sun Prairie to learn more. The program opens in the next few weeks, and you can save money by registering today. Eleanor, we got all of these great events coming up that Harold just beautifully laid out. What are you most excited about for this year's Bike Week?
So I'm always excited for the delicious food. I'm very excited for our end of week party. That it's always a great event. We were talking earlier about how it can be hard sometimes to quantify how many people are actually coming. Last year, we bought more food than we had in the previous year, thinking we'll be safe. And then so many people arrived. So this year we're getting even more food. We are going to be ready for the crowds that come.
Who's catering? Like who's bringing the food?
We have our board member who is super excited about running the grill and running volunteers to run more grills. So basically it's a cookout at the park. We purchase the food and give it to happy bike people.
Wow, y'all are full service. Okay. Gosh, there's so much going on. Were there more things, Eleanor, that you're just like, this, I'm excited about this?
So there are a few locations where you can not only get something delicious to eat or learn something amazing, but there's also, if you go to our website at madisonbikes.org, you'll find there's two calendars. One is our kind of all year round calendar because we're doing stuff all year round. The other is specific to Madison Bikes because there are just so many events that we needed a special calendar just for this specific week. So if you go to the madisonbikes.org website and you look at the calendar, there are some events where you'll see like bike checks. And that is an opportunity for people to get their bikes checked for safety. Especially, I know that there are some people who are riding year round and they are up on their bike and they're ready to roll. Whereas there are some other people who have been waiting for the summer weather to get their bike out, and things can be rusty. So it's good to get it checked out. And oftentimes those checks can be free. So I highly recommend especially if you're getting a bike out that you haven't ridden on in a while, to take it to one of these bicycle checks, because those are really handy and are also good for safety and help you ride better and more smoothly through the rest of the summer and maybe into the fall.
Well, that's ideal because I was going to ask you for that exact thing, where folks should go if they need to tune up their bike to get involved. Do you have any top checkpoints that come to mind where people can go?
Yeah, I think probably the best one with the most options is Enjoy to Go Bike checks, coffee, and donuts. It's on the Southwest Path near Camp Randall Stadium. So that's basically one of the mechanics from Budget Bicycles who sets up shop there, I think for 3 or 4 days of the week from 10 to noon. And is just out there taking a look at your bike. And obviously, not everything is going to be repairable right on the spot, but at least he can do a diagnosis and point you in the right direction. And Budget Bicycle is nearby. There's many more of those, but that's one that's there for multiple days and for multiple hours every day. So shout out to Craig for being out there. He's been out there every year. It's on my route to work. And so I usually stop by, say hi, have a coffee with him. And yeah, it's great.
You go, Craig. Thank you, Craig, out there. I mean, this just sounds like so much fun. And I had a million more questions to ask. So we'll just have to bring you guys back about some other things about biking in Madison. But knowing that it is one of the nation's most bike-friendly cities, I want to toss this to both of y'all. What are we doing right in Madison that makes us a standout? Eleanor?
So I think that we have a community that's been building for decades. There have been people interested in making Madison a more bikeable city around for a very long time, advocating for a very long time. I was able to benefit myself as a child from the work that folks did to get the Rails to Trails project initiative off the ground. And that is part of what made me a person who bikes consistently for transport. So we're standing on the shoulders of giants, I think. And of course, a lot of those folks have stuck around and continued to work in bike advocacy. Another thing that I think that we're doing really right is that we have an engaged populace who votes to put people in positions of power within the city who approve great infrastructure projects. And we have city partners who are interested in making the city safer, are interested in projects like Vision Zero and see the importance of, road safety, bike safety, and pedestrian safety. So I think that those have all been really great achievements. Harald?
Yeah, sure. I think one component of that is also that many city staff who are in charge of planning and building and designing projects actually ride bikes themselves, either to work or for other purposes. And that really shows. I think I mentioned previously that there's going to be that City of Madison bike infrastructure ride by a nerdy traffic engineer who rides his bike all around. And you can really tell that it makes a difference if you have infrastructure that's built by somebody who rides themselves. Or conversely, you will very quickly notice if infrastructure has been built by somebody who has no idea what biking is like. So I think that's another big component of it. And something that has happened in the past couple of years that the city has gotten right and been really successful in is getting federal money to build bike infrastructure projects. So sometimes building bike infrastructure can be super cheap. You put down some stripes, you put down some concrete barriers, and that creates a safe bike lane. But sometimes there are a lot of projects where you build a new off-street path, where you build an overpass. For example, out by Highway 30, there's going to be a new bike overpass, and that costs millions and millions of dollars, which the city can't pay out of their own budget. And so they've been really successful in writing grants and getting federal money to help getting those projects off the ground. So I'm super stoked how many projects that maybe a couple of years ago I would have thought like, oh, that's 10 years out, maybe if we can somehow find the money. They are actually now funded or they are already under construction. So I think that's another great thing.
Amazing.
Oh, Bianca, can I do a quick shameless plug for Madison Bikes?
Please.
Excellent. Okay, so maybe you're not around for whatever reason during Bike Week in Madison this year, but you still want to get involved in Madison Bikes. You can go to madisonbikes.org and sign up for our newsletter that has a bunch of advocacy things that are coming up, different events that are coming up. Will all be in there. You can also sign up as a volunteer on our website. If you have something that you are interested in that helps to promote our mission of making the Madison community and the Madison and the broader community a more bike-friendly place where people can comfortably bike wherever, whenever, you can apply for a small grant. So check out that program if that's something that interests you. So keep your eyes open. There are many ways to get involved.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Eleanor and Harald. Appreciate you guys making the time. What a blast.
Thank you so much, Bianca.
Hard to make time when there's all these Bike Week events going on, but hey, still.
Yeah.
That's Madison Bikes president Eleanor Conrad and former president Harold Kleems. If you want to learn more about what's on deck for Madison Bike Week, Head to our show notes for a link. That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin. If you enjoyed the show, why not share this episode with the true biker in your life? We'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Ciao.